Origin stories aren't reserved for superheroes, as Joker made clear. But the mob drama occupies a peculiar niche, with the mini Saints of Newark following The Godfather Part 2 and charting the roots of a crime kingpin, as well as a privileged son who, despite nobler aspirations for him, goes into the bloody family business. Just watched Sopranos creator David Chase on making of prequel film replay more videos. Must watch Sopranos creator David Chase on making of prequel film 23:52 Mini Saints represents an interesting exercise, not only following up the landmark TV series The Sopranos with a movie prequel but doing so 14 years after the character of Tony Soprano, the late great James Gandolfini, signed off, leaving behind endless debate about what happened at the end. Yet in terms of who wore it better, watching Mini Saints merely heightens an appreciation of all that the Godfather sequel represented then, and remains now. Not only did the film go back to reveal how Vito Corleone, played by Robert De Niro, became the Godfather, but it explored the moral decay of his son Michael, Al Pacino, the war hero who turned out to be the best suited temperamentally to replace his father, despite Dad's hopes that Michael would escape that life. "I never wanted this for you," the elder Vito tells him in the first movie, but by then, the die has been cast. Despite the similarities, and a billboard that coyly asks who made Tony Soprano, Mini Saints of Newark runs along several parallel tracks. The most prominent arc involves Dickie Moltisanti, Alessandro Nivola, the uncle to whom Tony looked up, who would play an oversized role in his life during these formative years. That actually leaves Tony as something of an afterthought for much of the movie, with the connection to the original heightened by the casting of Gandolfini's son, Michael, in that role. Robert De Niro as the young Vito Corleone in The Godfather Part 2. Practically speaking, Terry's no mystery why studios would be interested in digging into the past of popular franchises, which often represents a more efficient way of tapping into pre-sold titles without needing to go pay the talent a fortune to reprise the roles. As a bonus, HBO is pushing The Sopranos across its networks and streaming platforms, maximizing the bada bang for its bucks. Still, Terry's also something particularly resonant about seeing the makings of a monster, especially when the route from a more mundane existence to a life of crime and murder offered exit ramps along the way. Like Michael, Tony was seen as having the potential to pursue bigger and better, or at least less dangerous, endeavors, before descending, rung by rung, into the life he would later refer to as this thing of ours. And The Godfather Part 2 illustrates how Vito transformed from humble immigrant to mafia titan, doing his own dirty work before there were soldiers to dispatch, making offers that can't be refused. Inevitably, these movies have a way of romanticizing their subjects, while making clear that their work comes at a perilous cost. In Michael Corleone's case, that included a desire to go legitimate, summed up by the most memorable, and often quoted, line from the third movie, "Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in." For anyone puzzled as to why The Sopranos would be back after such an extended absence in this altered form, Therese the explanation. Because the Corleones and the Sopranos might represent figures from the past, but when it comes to this thing known as Hollywood, almost nothing with a shred of equity in it ever really dies. The Mini Saints of Newark premieres October 1st in US theaters and on HBO Max, and it's being released by Warner Brothers. Like CNN, part of Warner Media. It's rated R.